Hey guys, it's Trisha, the left-handed stitcher. I'm here tonight to do my 2022 end of year WIP parade and a finish parade. And probably some plans at the end. I'm feeling kind of awkward because it's been a while since I filmed. So we'll just bear with it. Bear with me. I'm sure you understand how these things go. So I said WIP parade first, but we're going to do finishes first. I'm doing them combined this year because I don't have nearly as many finishes as I did last year. So it just made sense to do them all in one video. So let's start with our end of year stats, as I always like to do. So these are my stats for 2022. I'll put them up there for those of you who are visual, like to see them, but I'll read them for those that are stitching. So I carried over from 2021 23 WIPs. I had 17 new starts. I had 12 finishes, and I had 7 FFOs. I am carrying over to 2023 28 WIPs, and during the year of 2022 I attended 6 retreats. So because I love stats, I love different types of stats. So as I was putting together the information for this, because I had to dig a little bit, I was not doing good with my tracker last year, but then again, as you guys may recall from last year's WIP parade, I mentioned I started a new job. I started a new job in January. I need to slow down a little bit because I'm getting a little tongue-tied apparently. So yes, I started a new job in January. The program I took over was really, it's a mountain of work. It was neglected, and so it's, I managed, I'm doing well, but it's still a lot of work, and I come home kind of brain dead a lot of nights. So it's getting better though, as I chip away at the mountain of backlog, or the mountain of, I'm calling it a mountain. It's the things that were neglected in the program that I'm having to get started back up again. So once I get all that, it'll be a lot easier. So let's just, one thing like I said before, as I was gathering the data, I created lists and stuff like that to get counts and whatnot. But interestingly enough, of my 17 new starts, I actually finished 10 of them within the year. So I thought that was kind of interesting to look, as I look back. Of the 12 finishes I had, like I said, 10 of them were from this year. I also finished one project that was started in 2021 and one project that was started in 2022. So then of my FFOs, I FFO'd one project from previous year and 2 projects that were finished in the previous year, and the rest were finished this year. And I thought this is kind of cool. Of my current WIPs as they stand right now, is that lighting good for you guys? You know what? Scratch that. That was my old list. I put a different one in my tracker. I forgot. Okay, so here is the current list. So of my current WIPs, the year in which they were started, I have 1 from 2017, 4 from 2019, 15 from 2020, 1 from 2021, and 7 from 2022. So, okay, so this is my old tracker. I have built next year's tracker. So those of you who have been with me for a while, you know what my tracker looks like. I've got January, if I turn it up right, January filled out already, and I got my year of WIPs list put together, and so it's all ready for me. One thing I probably need to do is, one thing I did differently this year is I put this binder tape on. I figured I'd try it a little differently this year. I put it on after it was folded, you know, so as it was in its taco form, I put it on then, but it doesn't want to stay. I think that when I open it, it does the thing, or maybe it's just different tape than I used last time, but I think it was the same brand. So I'm probably going to have to pull the binding, redo the tape, and do it when it's open, like I did it before, and we'll see if it does better. But it'll be a while before I undo the binding and redo it, because I have a lot more. Beginning of the year, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm trying to get done. So this is something that's to do in the future, to fix this little thing. But for right now, it's not a big deal. I put the tape on just because when I fold some of this cardstock, it cracks, and so I liked putting the tape on the binding just to make it a little prettier. And I like this tape because it changes color depending on what angle you have it at. So it goes blue to purple a lot. But alright, so old tracker, new tracker, we're good. And I've actually, sorry if that was loud on the desk, I've created the files that I need for printing out the next 10 years of my trackers, so I'll be a little bit more ahead of the game next year. So there's that. Let me put these off the desk. Alright, so we are gonna start our parade. Yay, yay, yay. I love these. And that's why I do my own. And holy cow, how helpful is it to myself? If you've never done a WIP parade, I highly suggest you do one, because it allows me to get a good look at everything in my WIP inventory, and I can look back on it. I have looked back on my own WIP parades to go, okay, what, you know, that project, what did it look like back then, kind of thing, or all sorts of reasons. I have watched my own WIP parades more than once for all sorts of reasons. So, all right, let's just get started. So, finishes are kind of chronological, WIPs are alphabetical. That's just what makes sense to me. So this guy is called True Love. It was my magazine new start. So this is the picture of what it looks like. It's very prim. It's from Just Cross Stitch, February 2015. It's by Nikki's Creations is the designer's name. I stitched this on, let's not cover up my card. Here's what it looks like. I stitched it on 32 count light taupe Lugana, and the colors I chose were DMC 223, 535, 930, 3013, and 3861 are the colors I chose. Kind of went a little more, less prim, but still in a prim-ish kind of motif. So cute little, just a cute little thing. I'll make it into something at some point. I haven't decided the exact FFO type of thing I want to do with it. So this was started on 1 January of 2022. Actually, what I'll do is, if it's within the year of 2022, I won't keep saying 2022. I'm sure that will get old. So I started this 1 January, and I finished it 24th of January. So, cute. And you know me, I don't apologize for the things I do in my video. I'm gonna be zippy, it's gonna be crinkly, it's just gonna be what it is. Alright, so the next one is my Sweet Ellie. So you guys have seen this as a WIP. Because it was started last year on the 22nd of September, and I finished this on the 29th of January of this year. As you can see, it's so, oh, I love how it turned out. So because this was a stitch along with my Ohio gals, which we call ourselves the Stitching Misfits, I recharted the wording on it so I could stitch in my Stitching Misfits. But there it is. This one, let me grab the card. I should try to remember. But I'll do this real quick as far as if you haven't watched the previous one. This is from Blackbird Designs, Eleanor Rigby, done in a similar colorway to the Sweet Baby variation she has on the back, but I chose my own colors, so I called it Sweet Ellie, since it wasn't a baby sampler. Is that too washed out for you? Gosh. Okay, I think you're good there. So those are all the colors I chose. So Weeks Dye Works Hibiscus, Gassed Baby Spinach and Gassed Hibiscus. Classic Color Works, Eve's Leaves, Zac Black, and Strawberry Parfait. Parfait. Yep. The word parfait brings back a memory. Okay, so we were at Dairy Queen, alright, and my brother had a parfait. What's the word I'm looking for? It was like a fudge parfait. Where the ice cream and the fudge egg kind of, down in the cup there was an air pocket, and he was squeezing his plastic cup to try to flood that air pocket, and he was making, you know, little voices like, it's flooding, it's flooding, it's flooding. While he was doing that, his cup cracked, and a little piece of ice cream shot straight up and stuck to the ceiling. We were kids, and it was the funniest damn thing. The word parfait always brings back that memory. Alright, so do any specifics that I need to tell you? I don't think so. But so cute. I love this. I love how it turned out. It's always fun to take a design and give it your own little flair. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I love the color pink. So, Alright, so the next one. So this was my 2020 start. It's Tired Trio, started in 9th of May 2020 and finished 14 February 2022. Trying to see if this is the right way up. No, this is the right way up. So there it is. There's my finish. So cute. Alright, we'll have to try to remember. Dig out the card before I start showing you and trying to describe it, because then I can just move into the other stuff. So, Tired Trio, stitched on 32 count Lugana, and it's color and cotton alabaster. It's a cut of fabric I got at a retreat. So now I think, so this is, I will also have to remember, even on finishes, show you this part, because if someone's not familiar with it, they'll at least know, you know, the designer, what it's supposed to look like if you change stuff, which I tend to do quite a bit. And so, Plum Street samplers, and they're just done. I'll give you like a little close scan of this. I did change a few things, but for the most part, it's mostly stitched as charted. But there it is, and I didn't change any of the fancy floss colors, just I might have changed where I put them. Like I changed the color of the dots on the sloths. So that's that. Okay. The next one, whew, is Hello Spring. It was started in March on the 22nd and finished the 6th of April. This was our El Paso groups. We did a mini spring retreat. It was just a day of stitching down in El Paso rather than doing a hotel weekend kind of thing, because she was spending a lot of her energy focused on our fall retreat, which is our Camp Stitch More, because it was our 30-year. I haven't been going to it for that long, but it was the camp's 30-year anniversary, so she was making it super special for everybody. But so this is, okay, I'll get you the picture first. This is her design called Hello Spring. Yep. She goes by the designer name of Faithworks, and this is my finish. Well, the lighting, okay, down back here it looks great. Lighting gets a little washed out up front, up close, but I don't know if you can tell. I think they're sparkly in the butterfly. But it's just a simple little pattern. It was fun to stitch. One fancy floss for the variegated in the spring word, and then there's some Krennic in the butterfly, and the little lazy daisy, lazy daisy, and there's a button right in the middle of it. So it turned out super cute. She actually gave us all the stuff needed, all the mat board and batting and fabric to do a flat fold and do it on this little hanging board. So I think that will be cute when I get to it. It was a very quick stitch. I didn't finish it at the retreat, but shortly thereafter I did. Alright, so just to let you know, she tends to use anchor floss for all of her solid colors, and she threw in one fancy floss. In case you're interested, let me see if it's written down on here. We did classic, nope, as she used, well, she actually used little sprout for something. We used number 4 braid, 5740 was the name of it, and oh, here we go. For the word spring, we used Celebration by WIP Dye Works. So this is what that floss looks like. Oh gracious. I am gonna have to, oh there we go, that's better. Now you can see it. You could probably see it before, but I couldn't see it, so I assumed you couldn't see it. But yeah, so that's what that was. And the fabric unknown, because she gives it to us and she always has to give me even weave because she gives everybody else linen. Although more and more people are asking for even weave because I think they see me stitching on it, they try it, they like it, and they ask for it. So I'm like converting people to even weave. Alright, so the next one, so this is a pair, but the first one was started the 22nd of May and finished on the 22nd of July. And the other one was started on the same day or 22nd of July. Wow, let's start that again. Gosh. Okay, so 22nd of May, finished on the 22nd of July, and the other one was started on the 22nd of July and finished on the 23rd of September. And these were gifted. These were gifted. I did a clip. Did I do a clip? Yes, I did a clip. Okay, so I did a clip of it, so we're going to put that right here. So this next one is the from this book. I'm sorry for the glare. It's Sea Life by Lennart. Here's the back of it. Lots of neat little sea motifs in this one. And what I stitched are this one and this one. Two tiny little lighthouse stitches. Okay, so here are the two little guys finished. And the little frames, I got these frames from Hobby Lobby. They're 4-inch ones. They got a good deep reveal in the back. Unlike the ones that I ordered off at Amazon. Those are 5x5, but thankfully they just weren't the right size. So I went and got these from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if you can see, it's got kind of a striation like it's a weathered beachy wood, and they're just mounted on foam core. The back, because this is the style that this piece has a slot that it slides into, and then it little swingy part goes into that groove as well, but the foam core and the fabric is just too tall for that. So I'd use my point driver. This one I kind of wedged in there and it went kind of funky, but it's fine. It's good enough for the back. You know, the back sometimes doesn't need to be all that neat. But the other one didn't work the same way, so I got my point driver out and I popped some points in. It was a little awkward because of this part. This part doesn't move very far out, and it doesn't sit flush. So my points are not centered on these two sections, but good enough. It worked. It worked. So I'm very happy. This one, again, is my favorite. So cute. And here's a good look at the red one. Alright, so I didn't mention on the previous clip for this. These are stitched on 32 count Summer Sky Lugana. I'm not sure if they're a Zweigart or a Woschelt, but it's a pre-printed one. So it has a, I don't know if you can tell in this lighting that I have. It's got a slight variation of white to blue, so it looks like a slightly cloudy sky, and I figured that would be perfect for these two. So here they are. These are going to get gifted to my mother-in-law in about a week and a half, so it was good. I felt it was perfect timing for me to do the filming before I do my actual full-on WIP parade / finish parade. So we'll see you guys later. Alright, so the next thing is also not so much a two-parter, but I've stitched it twice, actually. This was exchanged, and I stitched my "'Tis the Holly," which is the very end of "'Tis the Season" of the Blackbird Designs project. It's just simply truncated, and then I moved the white motifs around to fit the space better. But this is number 3. So number 2 has already been gifted, and this is number 3. This is going to be a gift for a friend sometime next year. And this is what it looks like before I add the ribbon ribbon. It's a natural, it's a woven, but it's still a ribbon and beads to the edge, and then I add something to the back to cover up. But this I'm calling "'Tis the Holly 3.0. This is what it looks like finished. And I'll have to do a clip of the ornament that I'm exchanging for Stitch Away this year. I have to remember to do that so that I can add it to my next one, because I don't want to show it, because I know some of those gals watch, and I like things to be a surprise. Alright, so "'Tis the Holly 2.0 was started on the 24th of July and finished on the put it on the 24th of July. I didn't start it and finish it on the same day. Weird. Weird. I think I started on the 14th, because as you can see, I probably put the 24th, but okay. Mystery solved. I'm looking closer at my scribbly handwriting. I started it on the 14th of July, and I finished it on the 24th of July. And "'Tis the Holly 3.0, I started that on the 22nd of July. Anything started on the 22nd or 23rd of July was New Jersey retreat 6 and 6. So 6 projects in 6 hours. I actually did 7 because I don't like the number 6, so I did 7 starts while I was there. But it was started on 22nd July and finished on the 10th of October. So, yay. I love that little pattern. So you'll see it again 4.0 in my WIPs because I'm stitching it for myself. I love that pattern, so I'm stitching my one for myself. Okay, the next thing on the list is, I call it Black Cat Tart because it was a, let's see, it was a kit I got off of 123 Stitch, so Creative Needle Arts, and it's just this cute little thing. It comes with the tart to put it in, so it has a little foamy thing that comes out, and then you can finish it in the tart. Only problem is, once I finished stitching it, it wasn't going to fit in the tart. So I am going to figure out a different way of finishing it, but this is how it has turned out. So cute. I love this. It was kind of a okay, so it was not difficult. It was a little what's the word I'm looking for? Following the pattern for all the backstitch was a little difficult, but you know, thankfully it's a spider web. I could just fudge it and it looked it's a spider web. It's gonna look all funky. So there we go. But he's so cute. Look at the little spider. So this is, I mean, it's just, it turned out cute. It wouldn't finish in the way that it was meant to finish. So I started that one on the 22nd of June and I finished it the 10th of September. I did this, all the stitching at one point, and then I went back later and did the, all the back stitching details. But so cute. Okay, so the next thing, I only have a picture of it because it was an exchange for camp. There we go. So this is a Satsuma Street kit that I bought when I was in San Antonio for the retreat. Bought it from Leslie from Under the Sea Fabric. She had some of these in her shop, and so this is basically done like a mill hill. It's a perforated paper, and let's see if I can get you up close. There are beads on it. It comes with sequins, but the sequins didn't make sense to me, so I didn't put them on. But so this is Creepy Crawly from Satsuma Street. That's one of my finishes that was also an FFO. It turned out so good. I really enjoyed that. Alright, so then camp projects. So Camp Stitch More. She gave us a lot of projects. So I only got two of them done. They haven't been FFO'd yet, but so this is my Camp Stitch More 2022, which is our 30th anniversary, and it's going to be a needle book. So once I get around to FFOing it, there'll be some felt on the inside. So there it is. Just a cute, simple little design. The nun stitch all the way around the border. That took forever. But I enjoyed it. It was a nice meditative. Once I had my corners marked, so I knew to go from here to here and here to here. That nun stitch, I actually enjoyed doing it. She gave us the alphabet to put our own initial in there. And again, anchor floss for the whole thing. So that was one. And then the other project that I started there, let's see, I got my cards in case I need anything. Again, that was even weave, unknown colorway, because she just puts it in the kit. She usually on her kit, on the project card, she'll put the linen that she gives out to the linen folks, because that's what she stitched it on. But she never tells me what the... I never think to ask. Just basic even weave in a basic color. Okay, so this is called Spring Roll. Actually, it's May Pin Roll. I've been calling it Spring Roll because I like puns. So I've been calling it Spring Roll. So just bloom in May on it. And here's my finish. So there's the May. Just a neat little design, and there's my bloom. So when I get around to FFOing it, it will be in a little pin roll. So that's why they were upside down, because when you put it in the roll, then both sides are straight up. See? Those are the two camp projects that I actually, well, the needle book I started there and I finished, so I started it on the 29th of October and I finished it on the 30th, so the next day. Spring Roll I started on the 30th, but I finished it 5 November, so I finished it after I got back home. So there we go. Okay, so the next, okay, so then I put that in the wrong bucket. Alright, so that's all my finishes. Let's see if I have any FFOs that I didn't show. Yes, I do have one. So for StitchCon, I FFO'd my Bloom 3.0 as a flat prep. I mean, it's, you know, that's what I call when it's like a flat fold, but it's just a single layer, so it's, I call it a flat prep. And I put magnets on the back so that it's stuck to the watering can, and then in the watering can I put a bunch of pink artificial flowers, and the girl that got it at the exchange at StitchCon loved it. She loved it. I think that's better that way. Okay, well, so that was my other FFO for this year, but that was stitched last year. And then the other one I can't show you yet, so I'll do a clip later and add it to the next video. Alright, so let's just get into my WIPs. I arranged them in order. If they were a new start this year, I will tell you. So this is my antique Celtic sampler. Pull out the card and so this is what it looks like, by Elizabeth Needlework Designs. A lot of people tend to call this Here Be Monsters because that's what it says in the, but it's actually antique Celtic sampler. So I'm pretty much noticing I haven't done anything on it this year. So this is the same that it looked like last year. So I think the first thing, it's gonna get some love this in January because it's part of Baringo and it's in my Magical Stitches prompts for January. I think maybe I'll do that tonight. I owe a frog. This this stuff out because I'll need to redesign this little guy, slide this over so that I can put another monster there instead of just average everyday birds. Because it's a Here Be Monsters, and then you're going to put two sweet little birds on there. Oh well. Alright. Okay. So let me just quickly remind you, this is being stitched on 32 count cream Lugana, all the called for fancy flosses, and we're doing my normal 2/2. I'm a 2/2 stitcher. If I ever do something 1/1, I will be certain to tell you. But I'm pretty much a 2/2. So just to remind you, I started this back in March of 2019 for the Magical Stitches prompt Gosh, I always have trouble with this word. Arithmancy. Right there. Yes. There's Antique Celtic. Cool. And yes, it's gonna get some love. So I think maybe, yeah, like I said, before January hits, it would be good, really good, to get that stuff frogged out. So I have a fresh start. Okay. So I have some projects here that are part of plans, so I will just stick them there so that they don't get buried in all the WIPs. Okay, give me just a second. Okay. So the next one is my Azure Mermaid. So this is a continuation. She was started on, she was a 2020 Mania start. So when you last saw her, let's get her picture out. Sorry guys about, I do some prepping for these, but I don't do, I could probably do a little more prepping. So there's what she looks like. She's a Nora Corbett, cute little mermaid, and here's my progress. So as you may recall, I have her tail completely done, so I moved up, and this is her hair. So the adornments in her hair got done first, and I'm starting on the hair color. So she's, I don't think she's been billed for anything in January, but she does lend herself to prompts, so, and she's gonna be so cute when she's done. So this is being stitched on 32 count. Picture this plus helix. So a nice blue color. You can see it better when it's back farther. I know my lighting tends to wash stuff out. I haven't quite gotten my lighting fine-tuned enough to get good lighting with not too much lighting. So I'm gonna have to make some adjustments this year. So, there we go. Your floss. Alright, so the next one, this is a new start. This was one of my 6 and 6 starts. So as I tend to do, I'll show you the project bag. So this is a cute little project bag. glare, sorry, glare. A nice print on the inside. The print on the inside isn't as important because it's usually something you're not seeing. But I love the strawberries on the back. And this is a DotDotGooseDesigns, purchased off at Etsy. And so this is I don't know why that light just went out and then went back on. Okay. Okay, so I have lighting that comes from the top, and the bulb just kind of flickered off and then came back on. Distracting. Okay, so this is Berry Patch. Wow. Maybe, note to self, to remember to pull the stuff out of the bags before I start filming. So there's the project, and it's a hello from Liz Matthews Design. I bought this pattern at StitchCon and started it at the New Jersey retreat. So let's get my needleminder out of the way a little bit. So I just have 1 hour of work on it. Started on the little bunny. So this is being stitched on 32 count antique blue linen, no, never linen. Okay, I won't say never linen. Lugana is my fabric of choice. So antique blue Lugana. You can kind of see the true color right about there. Grime Guard made by me, and needleminder is one from, I remember this is CricklewoodCrossing, one of hers that I ordered because I love my flamingos. I'll show you guys my t-shirt today. It's my flamingo snowy shirt, and it says "Let it snow." So I love it. I love the Nordic snowflake design as well, so this is one of those ones that I just wait for Christmassy time to come around so I can wear it some more. I mean, I've been known to wear it other times of the year, but I always feel weird wearing out of season stuff. Okay, so I am stitching it with all the called for DMC. And that's my berry patch. So this one was started on the 22nd of, let me see, berry patch, yep, 22nd of July. My 6 and 6. Right. This project bag is kind of small for it. It doesn't, because the pattern is a full page pattern, it doesn't want to go in very easily. So, but it'll live in here because I like to be matchy-matchy, not all the time, but whenever it's an easy task for me to do. So there's my strawberry bag with my berry patch in it. Alright, so there we go. Alright, my next WIP is Compass Rose. So this is a long-term project. See if I can find my card in here. I saw it. Where'd it go? No, that wasn't it. It must be in here. Yes, it is. That's where all the pattern is. This is a monstrosity. So this is Compass Rose by Draco Creations. It's being stitched with all the called fors, which is a mix of DMC, Fancy Floss, and Krennic. So, and this is where I'm at. So you saw it last time, it was about here. So I hit the corner and I started coming across, and one of my prompts last year was backstitching. So some of this border, I think I forget when I think I started at the top here, and I started doing the back stitch. Now I said last time that I was gonna need to stitch the points before I did the back stitching on the border, but as it turns out, the points don't actually touch the border. So I can completely finish the border before I start in on any of the, any of the center stuff. But yep, slogging away on the border first before I move in on any of it. So it's gonna get some love this next month. Put everything back where I like it. So I think that's my goal for this year, is just to get through the border, get the border complete. That would be a nice thing. Okay, did I mention this is a Color and Cotton fabric 32 count sandstone. I needed a real parchment-y, parchment-like fabric, since it's like an old map. And that's where that one is. And it's in this project bag from CreativeCarol off of Etsy, because it's the biggest one I have, and it's the only one that'll fit in. Okay, so the next one, alright, this was a camp start. This I named CSM for Camp Stitch More 30, and it's called Basket Liner. And that's what it, let me move the sticky so you can actually see. That's what it looks like. So she works willingly with her hands. And this is how far I've gotten on it. So I got the back, the running stitch border all done all the way around. I got this corner motif, and I got that section back stitched. I was thinking about changing the wording on the other half. Something, it just, I'm not a really religious person. Well, I was raised Lutheran. I was Lutheran. But now I'm just kind of like a good person type person. Okay, anyways, I didn't want to stitch it as it was, so I have an idea to change it. So once I figure out what the words I want, chart them, stitch it, and then do the fringing it, and that will be its finish. So, not basket liner, but it's a WIP until I actually finish the stitching on it. So this was started 28 October of this year for our camp, one of our camp projects. So what she did is she gave us a basket, and so she gave us a project to make the basket liner, and then the rest of the stuff that went into it was the smalls. So her tagline was, "It's a smalls world after all." Like I've said before, I like puns, so I found that kind of fun. But it counts as a WIP until I finish the stitching. Okay, so my next one is my DMC Rose. that was a new start. I didn't show you. This is a project bag by CreationsbyMaryRose. Just a pretty, pretty antique-y floral pattern I like. Okay, so this one's tough to figure out where I put everything because it's dark. Anyways, so this is my DMC rose, and it's a kit by DMC. I am stitching, where my card went. I am stitching this on 18 count white Ada in the Easy Count by Wishelt. And it has some progress since the last time you saw it. Still, I mean, I'm still a ways from finishing, but so I'm starting to bring it around so then I can fill in that center. Lots of color changes in that center, so. But yeah, this is because I love pink, and it's a fun stitch. So it's all kit floss, which, because kit floss tends to be short, I'm doing my simple knot loop start. So if you're interested in what that means, put it in the comments. I will do a little, I did a tutorial, but it wasn't a tutorial, it was, I was doing an update and I just happened to show it. But if you're interested, I will show you what I do. So there it is. I mean, I love all my WIPs, but there's some that are just so me. Alright, so alright, the next one is my DMC Willow. And I actually do have the stock photo this time. So this, okay, there's what it looks like in the photo. It's hard to see it because it's not a very good photo of it. This is a pamphlet that you sent in a self-addressed stamped envelope and I think it was $1, and they sent you the pamphlet. So it's old. You can get it off of DMC's website now. Download it for free. So if you like it, you can stitch this yourself. But let's see. As usual, this is one I gotta stand up for. So I have started on the shading in that corner. So this is what it looks like. It looks dark. It looks really dark. Sorry. It looks darker than I'm used to seeing it. But I'll give you a closer look at where the shading is. So that's what the shading looks like. I was doing columns when it was out here in this part, but once I got into the branches, it made sense to kind of follow the branches down. So, but that's where I'm at. I've got all of this to do. So, progress, making progress. It will come to fruition at some point. But here, as you can see here, this was my test stitching, so that I could decide on what I wanted to do for the shading stitches. And I decided 2 strands, 10 stitch is what they ask you to do in the pattern, and that's what I've decided looks best in it. So there we go. Get situated back down in on my stool. Get comfy. So this is being stitched on, I know I got my card right here, 14 count Aida, and it's a DMC color number 738, and they don't produce this anymore. I'm stitching the foreground stitches of the Pussy Willow branches are 3 strands over one of Aida, and then the background shading stitches are 2 stranded 10 stitch. So I think that's all I needed. Feeling a little out of sorts today, so if you noticed, some things were off. I just feel a little off. So, whew, okay. Still on the first bucket. I got 3 buckets. Alright, so this one is Elizabeth. And you've seen her before. This is what she looks like. Glendon Place Baroque Beauties, Elizabeth. And I always try to put the card in the back so I can find it easier. And I don't think it does have some more stitches in it than the last time, so it did get some stitches, but not many. I'm still planning on gridding this one of these times. This is being stitched on a Lugana from Picture This Plus called Petals. It was supposed to be a 32 count, but it's more of a 30 count. Like, it started life as a 28, and the dyeing process, you know, Picture This Plus tends to have a little bit of shrinkage when they do dye their fabric. So I think it started as a 28 and became a 30. Because I'm not, when I'm up on stitching, I hate the coverage. But when you're back a bit, I don't think it matters. You don't see it, just because the nature of being up on it with readers and you know, okay. So this was started for the Stitch Mania of 2020. That's where most of my projects are from right now. I mean, she doesn't get a whole lot of love, because right now, if I need something sparkly, I tend to stitch on Azure Mermaid, and if I need flowers, I tend to stitch on either DMC Rose or Florographica. So it's just one of those ones where prompts, it's not my first choice, but we do what we can. It'll get its love. Okay, so the next one is my Florographica. So this, let me move these out of the way because I keep thinking, let's not put them there, let's put them there. Keep thinking like I haven't put everything back in the bag. Alright, so this is the card out and the picture. This is what it looks like. It's a pattern from Jan Hicks Creates. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana in Dirty Chalkboard by Be Stitch Me. excuse me, I have floss all over the place. For some odd reason, it's not even attached. I do really good, but apparently I must have been stitching. Ooh, I was working on this at an appointment, and I was getting ready to, I was pulling another strand out to put on the needle, and it like called me right at the worst possible time. So that's why it got tossed in there willy-nilly. Alright, so this is where I'm at. You know what? I think what we can do is we can partially un-Q-snap it so that you get a better idea of, yeah, okay, maybe not such a great idea, because I am parking threads as well. So that's how much I have done. I've just started moving over, and the threads that I was working on here got parked down in the margin. Okay, so goes there. A little messy for me to work with. I made a mess for myself by doing that, but it just seemed right at the time. Gosh. Okay, so all the called for fancy floss, and it's not a brand new start. So this one was started June of 2021, because this was StitchCon, a StitchCon start. So, and it's gonna get some love this month because it's on Bringo, and it's a prompt for magical stitches. So there's my Flora Graphica. So it's a fun. I enjoy stitching that one. So okay. Bins come. First bin empty. All right. So the next one is this one. Okay, that one. So this is my Fox and Friend, and I hit a good spot to take him off the Q-snap. So you can see. Let me get my card out before. Let's try to do this in a sequence. Don't forget. So this is Fox and Friend by Teresa Kogut. And you see my needle minder is stuck in the bag because he's off the Q-snap. But this is where he's at. Okay, so yes, he's done. I got the border completely done, and then I got the background in, background scenery in. So now the next thing to do is start working on the greenery, and the very last thing I'm going to stitch is the little bird. So, but I made good progress on him this year. That border is a beast. But it's so cool. So this is one of my Year of WIPs projects. So that's my plan for this year, is to finish him up. So he's stitched on 32 count Murano in Sage. It's I got a bulk of it off of Etsy since, well, I heard that they're not making Murano anymore. And it's being stitched with all the called for DMC, and there are fancy flosses in this. I just have all called for DMC, but there are fancy flosses. So, but they're all called for. There's my Fox and Friend. So fun. I love him. Alright, so I think I can start populating the empty bucket. Alright, so this one is my growth rings. So, there's the card. this is what it looks like when it's stitched with the called for. It's an ink circles pattern called growth rings. I am stitching mine on a 32 count Lugana in pearl gray. There's where I'm at. So I'm using sapphire for the blue, and I need to change my card because I know I changed the pink to pink tourmaline. And so I finished restitching the pink part, and I got a good bit of this done, so it gets progress. Just doesn't fit a lot of prompts, so I try to get it in where I can. But yep, so good. It's gonna be so pretty, and I love the design on this pattern. There's my growth rings. I'm gonna keep going this way until I remember that my empty bucket's on this side. Alright, so this one is, okay, this one didn't get any work on it this past year. It's my herding cats. So here's where I'm at. I got that many kitties and I got this much fabric. So this is a 32 count white Lugana, I'm relatively certain of. It might be like an antique white, but do I have it on the card? Nope, it says white. It's not quite a white, so it's probably an antique white. But there's where my herding kitties. I always feel like maybe you hear me saying hurting kitties, but it's herding kitties. If you're curious about why I named it that, watch last year's WIP parade. Okay, so I think maybe I'll, like all the stories that go with these things, I'll do every other year. So this is my Kingdom of Books. Let's see if I can find the picture and the card. The card's usually pretty easy to find because I tend to stick it in the back unless I'm futzing with the rest of the papers in there for some reason. Okay, so this is Kingdom of Books. This was a kit off of my bobbin.com, and as far as I can tell, it's designer is called Andriana, but I can't be certain. There's a lot of non-English on this paper. I might have done a Google search on it one time, but so this is where I'm at. I'm not taking it out of the Q-snap. I'll take a picture of it the next time I take it out of the Q-snap, so the next time you can, but you saw I had this whole gate area done along with the one book, small book on the side, and I moved over and I did the bottom part of the next book, and I started on the bottom part of the next book, and then when I do the top, I need to move up a little bit in order to get the top, and I think what I'm doing is I'm doing books up to a certain point until I get a few over, and then I'm going to move the Q-snap, or the fabric down in the Q-snap, and just fill in the tops of the books. But there's where I'm at with it, with the gate all rolled up like so. But yep, there's my progress. Like I said, I was gonna start moving over on the books on one side, and then I'll go back and I'll move over on the other side on the books. But this is a beautiful pattern. I love their shading that they use. So it's a lot of color changes. But so I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana in the color Summer Sky. I think it's a Wushelt fabric. Using all the kit threads. And this one has, I wrote it down because I had to decide which project had the most colors. This has 59 colors in it. But it's getting love this next month. It lends itself to a lot of prompts. So it's gonna get its love. And it has so many colors. Floss has its own project bag. Alright, so, I need to adjust a little bit because as I pull out, they're starting to fall forward, and that is not conducive. Okay, so my next one is my Mick Christmas. I love him. Oh. So, there's the picture. And there's my card. So here's what he looks like. Mick Christmas, and he's from KreativeCarol. Do a Google search and you'll find them. I think it's a Facebook. You message them with what pattern you want and they'll invoice you. That's the way. So this is where I've gotten to. Oh, so when you saw him last, I had gotten this far, and I've done all of this past year. So finishing up his hat, and then I get to move into his cute little nose, and then somebody who stitched it before me said once you get into his beard, it's grays for days. So there he is. He's being stitched on 32 count Lugana in taupe with all called for DMC. And he has 47 colors. So his floss lives in its own project bag as well. But he's getting love from Baringo and Magical Stitches this next month, so gonna have some fun with him. Alright, Richie. This is my Night Walk Down project. This one did get some progress this year. Alright, there's my card. This is what it looks like on the stock photo. As I mentioned last year, colors don't look anything like the picture. Some of the colors just don't look anything like the picture. So my progress from last year is I finished the kitty, I finished the rest of her dress down there, and I've started on the border. And I'm trying to keep track of where I change colors, so when I finish this I will try to have a list of what I changed to what. But so there's the little kitty. I love it with that curly tail and everything. So yep, so that's my plan. Is I'm gonna work on the border. I might like work the whole border and then start filling in the rest, because I'm gonna have to make decisions on colors on the interior, because like I said it last time, that purple, and I don't know if you can see it, that's the color purple that is filling in the gaps. Those two do not look good together, and they're the called for. So I'm gonna have to do some color modification. But I love this pattern, so I will get this done at some point. It's gonna take time because I have to make decisions on colors. Oh, this is my pink floppy. Zipper is a little sticky. I don't have a picture. I even wrote it down last time. I remember I wrote it down, but you can kind of see from the pattern it is a floppy disk, and this is where I'm at. So it did get some stitches this year. I remember I didn't have that gray in there, so I got some stitches. It's not one I'm in a hurry to finish. It's just I keep it as a WIP because every once in a while, if it's a prompt that nothing else does. So over that way. Okay. Next project is my Pray by Teresa Kogut. This is what it looks like. Did I tell you fabric on this one? Not that one, that's what was Florographica. Okay, so this is just being stitched on the same petals fabric that need to go back a little bit more. I'm recalling that I didn't tell you fabric on Night Walk Down either. Gosh, I'm out of practice. So fabric is a 32 count Lugana, and it's color and cotton desert taupe. I love color and cotton fabrics. Okay, so this one is Pray by Teresa Kogut, and let's get the thread, needleminder out of the way. So this is where she's at. So she's gotten a little bit of love. Got some, some more of the confetti here that she takes concentration, and like I said before, once I get into the face, I am probably going to pick a slightly more subdued pink for her cheeks, because it just doesn't quite jive for me. But everything else so far, I've done all the called for DMCs for her. And she's stitched on 32 count Picture This Plus in Legacy. I know I've said more about these things, and I don't know why my camera is telling me that I don't have any more time left, I think. So it's like 4 minutes. So I might have to clear some stuff off. Darn it. Gonna throw off my groove. Okay. Alright. Well, I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. Okay, so let me reach for the last one in this bucket and we'll get started again. Sorry guys for the super awkward transition. Pause and transition. Okay. So this is what I'm calling Scarecrow Silhouette. And it's from Just Cross Stitch Halloween. Sorry, I take a drink of Dr. Pepper, and usually I have to burp it up. So this is where I'm at. It has gotten a little bit of love because I recall I hadn't done any of this. So I got a little bit more of its bottom part done, and I brought his outline down because I want to get him fully outlined so then I can just do fill in at that point. But this is being stitched on 32 count Bittersweet Light Joblin from 123 Stitch. So it has kind of a summer dusk, just before the sun goes down look to it in the background. I'm using DMC 3021 to do all the stitches, and this was started for a magazine monthly challenge. I haven't been saying that for all of them, why I started them, but this was for a monthly magazine challenge for spooky stuff. So that's where it's at. Occasionally it fills a prompt and it gets some love. I think it's going to get some love this next month, if I remember correctly, when I was organizing all of my prompts. Okay, so that's there. We're moving on to the third bucket. So the first one in that bucket is my Silver Moon Tea. This is in one of the one project bag that I made. I don't know if you guys recall. This is the one I used for the tutorial, I think, that I did with making project bags. Yes. Okay. Here's my card. Here's what she looks like. She's a Mirabilia. Again, Silver Moon Tea. She's being stitched on 32 count cream Lugana with all the called fors. So I'm trying to move a thread out of the way. So this is where she's at. So yeah, she got a little bit more, I think, in the hair. So I'm starting to fill in the hair. So I did fill out everything down here, including the back stitching for the words. It says Earl Grey. So now I'm filling in her hair, whatever little bit of clothing is left, and then I'll do the rest of the moon, and then I'll do her skin, and then all the beads. So slowly but surely she gets love. I don't think she didn't fit as many prompts last year as in the previous years. Previous years there was a lot of prompts that she could fit. I guess because the different book series that we do, their prompts have a certain flavor to them, and this one just didn't happen to do a lot last year. So there we go. Okay, the next one, this one was I believe it was a 2022 start. Yes, it was. So this is a stitch along with my Stitching Misfits crew. They said they wanted to stitch this, and I started this one on, where is it again? 9 June 2022. So it was started at StitchCon. Yes, because the Florographica was a start in 2021 StitchCon. So this one was started at the StitchCon, this past year's StitchCon 2022. So this is Something Wicked by La-Di-Da. And find my card. I am stitching it on 32 count Lugana Dirty Chalkboard by Be Stitch Me. So I am, you know what, okay, the needle, I want to take I'm going to take it out of the Q-snap, so let me do that. I have a thread parked because that's where I stopped. So I am nearly done with the border, and then I'll show you what I have left to do. I'm close, very close. So let's take it out. Since I probably have to, I want to show the whole thing of what I've done so far, since this is the first time you've seen it. So here she is. Gracious, a little, let me see if I can get that. Yep. So there's where I'm at. This lighting is not the greatest for this. Okay, I picked all my own colors for it. Let's see if I get it up a little closer. In real life, that text comes out a lot better. So I'm using all Dinky Dye silks. The black is black coral. The words are jungle green. The socks are a combination of hibiscus and argyle. And that's it. So I just have this little tiny bit of the border at the top. I have to add the interior of the boot. The boot has a little bit of an interior swath, and I'm debating on what color. I think I picked a couple of DMC colors, so it just needs to be a gray, you know, because it's the interior of the boot. Boot's black, interior is usually something similar but lighter. And then adding all the spiders and spider webs. Let me take the okay, you guys noticed probably that I got my hair cut short since last time. So there's some spiders and some spider web to put in. But yeah, as you can see in the boot, there's just a little tiny swath of the interior. But I'm loving this, how it turned out. And I am happy with the color of the text, because it's readable in real life, and it has a real spooky vibe to it. And I love my socks. I love my socks. So pink and sherbet is the colors I went with. And it just turned out really, really cool on this fabric. So that makes me happy. This one is a WIP Go. Not a WIP Go. I didn't do WIP Go this year. Year of WIPs. Year of WIPs pledge. Because it is quite close to finishing. And I will definitely find a reason to stitch on it again. Alright. When I take them off the Q-snap, I like to put the needleminder with the needles in the little package with the pattern, because otherwise it gets lost. Alright, so because I took it off the Q-snap, it's a little bit more awkward to put away, because everything is all discombobulated. And this is what I do, is I put the peels on the outside, and then I stick the gram guard back on, so then it will all just sit it in here nicely. Alright, since this is a new start, let me show you. This is a KreativeCarol bag. As red squirrels, little squirrels all there in the backing fabrics, just a coordinating color print, but I couldn't pass up the red squirrels. So cute. Grime guard made by me, needleminder made by me. So my grime guard, and one of my favorite needleminders is my pink flower. And this one makes me happy too. Oh wait, put the floss back in too. So the next one, this is a new start. It was 6 and 6 at New Jersey. Taking everything out. This is a cute little CreationsbyMaryRose, all the kitties bag. I think I've shown it before because it's one of my favorite bags. So, or it's among the grouping that of bags that I really like. So this is. It's an Etsy pattern, so I don't have a This is called Spring is Coming. I can also, sometimes I refer to it as a mini Quaker, so mini spring Quaker. And it's Etsy seller is called Stitches Through the Years. And it's, of course, it's a seasonal series, so I'm stitching, currently working on 2 of the seasons. I have the other 2 kitted. So this is how far I've gotten. This is just 1 hour of work at the retreat, 6 and 6. So I'm focusing on the winter one. So once the winter one's done, then this one will be whenever I need to stitch on a Quaker type project. And as far as I know, let me think. Did I write it down? I thought I wrote it down. Yeah, I'm using all the called for fancy floss, except I changed the Classic Colorworks used brick. I changed it to Week Styleworks Aztec Red. When I pulled the colors, I just didn't like the used brick, so I pulled a different variation on that same color that I like better. So the Spring is Coming, or Mini Spring Quaker, depending on what day it is. Alright, this is another new start. So let's pull everything out. And it's also not on a Q-snap because, oh, okay, so these two aren't on Q-snaps because since I flew to the retreat and I was starting 7 projects, I brought one extra Q-snap to use amongst them all. So this is Sunset, glare, Sunset by Works by ABC. And here is my start on it. 1 hour of work. See if I get it a little closer. Yep, tiny little start. It's not all that big of a project, but you know, 1 hour of work. And it'll get assigned a Q-snap. I don't think it's part of my prompts for this next month. I think it was, but I changed it out for some reason. Okay, so this is being stitched on 32 count white Lugana, and it's being stitched with all the called for fancy floss. Now, and it doesn't have a grime guard or needleminder at the moment, so, but here is its project bag. This is a CricklewoodCrossing bag, and I just really like the overall look of it. The colors in it are very pretty. So in it goes. And when I get back to it, it's gonna be a fun stitch. Just it's a pattern within a pattern. That's just fun. So, all right. The next one in the third bucket is my Through the Storms. Oh, yeah, that was started 22-23 July. That was a 6 and 6 project. So this is one that's been going for a while. Let's remind you of all the things. Here's what it looks like. Silver Creek samplers. Through the Storms. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana in Vintage Stormy Night. And this is my progress. So I moved the Q-snaps. You guys have seen the other half of it. I feel bad for not taking out of the Q-snaps, but there's just times when I don't want to. This is going to get some love this next month, so I'm leaving it in the Q-snap. I don't have to tell you needleminder and grime guard, because if you don't want to watch previous WIP parades where I do give the information, if you're just put the question down below and I will answer any questions you guys have. But I stitched his initials, my initials, and our wedding date right there. I don't recall what I put in the pond that was there. We'll take one side off, so I can tell you if I did that. Actually, okay. So I did. Actually, I will take this out of the Q-snap and show you guys. I have to park my needle in the fabric because it was parked on the grime guard. Alright, pulling off the... We're just going to go with awkward for this one. Because I am being really awkward tonight. Because that threw off my groove, the little groove I had. Alright. So, we're going to pull it up and show you. Okay, here we go. So what I did, I can say this on here. Okay, so I put, I don't know if you can tell what that says. This is 321 in the pond, because his mother-in-law won't be seeing this. So this is the date that we got married in Germany. And then we came to the States to have a wedding with the family. Mother-in-law knows about this date. She doesn't know about this date. So because we have 2 anniversaries in a year, I put both dates on here. But in a, in such a way that it worked for me. So that makes me happy. So this is how far I've gotten. It's fun, and it's such a nice saying in it, and it suits me and my husband so much. If you haven't seen it before, if you're curious, it just says, "No relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share one umbrella and walk through the storms together." So there we go. And again, this is one of the reasons I don't take stuff out of Q-snaps in the video as much as I can, because it's just awkward to do all the things to put it back in the bag. Right, there's my needle minder. I'll have to remember that I have a needle stuck in. You know what? Let's just liberate that needle from the thread that it's on and get it on its needle minder. Because you know darn well, if I leave it there, I'll forget it's there. I'll either lose it or make myself bleed on this project. So, alright, did I tell you everything? Yes. Yes, I did. And this was started for a Magical Stitches prompt, something with a duck. Because there's ducks in the pattern. And it's one that I wanted to start. It was in my, start sometime in the next few years pile. So it got started. Alright, so, sorry I'm off camera. I'm having to rearrange these last few bags so they don't fall. Okay, so this is my Tis the Holly 4.0. And they've all been stitched with the exact same floss. And I don't have a card in here because I was just going to take the previous iteration's card and put it in the bag with it. So you can't tell from this one, but from if you remember the other one, it's being stitched with Classic Colorworks Belsois in the colors of Icing, Poison Apple, Moss, Turtle, give me a sec, Tortoise Shell, and Herb Garden is the colors. I don't know why I had such trouble. I was starting to say turtle and I'm like, no, it's tortoise. So there we go. This one was started on the 4.0 was started on the 23rd of July. But this one is from me. It's gonna be mine when it's finished. And I finished them all I FFO them all in the same way because it's just such cute finishing. So, and I didn't, because this is a new project, I didn't do the thing. And did I even tell you I'm stitching it on 32 count taupe Lugana, and it's the same fabric I stitched the other ones on. Grime Guard made by me. Needle Minder was Retreat by, I don't recall whose, but it's little, from Wally Eve, because I love that movie. This bag is so pretty. This is from a Etsy seller called Needle to Knot. I'll show you the tag right there. Needle to Knot. And I saw this and I was just like, yes please. I love me some holly. It's one of my favorite holiday emblems is holly. And with that gingham interior, it was a definite must have. Alright, so I pick this up just whenever I feel like stitching on something. So there we go. Okay, next one is my Welcome to Spring. And this one we took off the Q-snap last time, and it's still off the Q-snap, so that means it hasn't gotten any stitches since. But here is where it's at. And this one is gonna get some love this next month because it's on both Bringo and Magical Stitches prompts. Where's my cards in front? So this is being stitched on a 32 count Lugana taupe. I love this color, it gets used a lot. So there we are. And I'll have to do a rundown of my changes once I finish it, but it uses a combination of DMC, Dinky Dyes, Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, NPI, and Silken Colors. Some of it I changed out, some of it I changed out and I changed back. Some of it just got left. I don't know what I think I was trying to save a little money because it's a lot of fancy floss, but at the end of the day I think I decided a few of them just needed to change back. So, yep, and this was a Stitch Mania 2020 project. So, I'm gonna be, and this one was pledged for Year of WIPs. So I anticipate that it's gonna get finished this next year. Okay, so this is my Winter is Coming from Stitches Through the Years. So let me get you the picture. Of it. And that's what it looks like. I loved this picture. Just this picture grabbed me and I was like, yep, I gotta stitch that. And because it's a series, I'm not so OCD that I had to stitch the whole series, but I like them enough. So Winter's definitely my favorite. So this is where I'm at. Since this is a new start, we'll at least pull off the side of the Q-snap so you can see it's not much. So that's as far as I got on that side. So you can see this motif, the deer, this motif. I am currently working in this guy, and once he's done, I move the Q-snap over and work on all that whole other side. So I'm getting close to being done with this half of it, and then I go back and do the other half. So fun. Alright, so since it's a new project, let's do the things. This is a project bag that I bought at StitchCon. It was on the table, so pretty. It's there's a card in here. Bags by Beth B. Here it is. And I just loved just the colors and the overall composition of it. The stripes on the edge, pretty birds on the back, just beautiful. So I think somebody else had their eye on this, but I, grabbed it first. So there is that. Grime Guard, made by me. Needleminder is a purchase. So I threw away the tag, so I can't tell you what the brand name. Alright, so it's someone who specializes in reclaiming vintage jewelry and making them into needle minders. So just a pretty little flower medallion. So pretty. And I bought it at, I think I wrote it down, at the Ye Old Cross Stitchery in Bristol, Pennsylvania. Because when we were at New Jersey retreat, the girls at my table, hi Amy, if you watch this, and we took a trip there to that cross-stitch store, and that was a good trip. That was fun. So it's being stitched on 32 count light taupe Lugana with all the called for fancy floss. I didn't change any of the colors in this one. And that's it. And this one I started at New Jersey retreat as part of my 6 and 6, which actually I turned into a 7 and 7. This one, we're down to just 2 more left. Alright, so this is my Winter Snow Owl by Blackberry Lane Designs. And let's see, get a picture of it without glare. Here we go. That's what he looks like. And he hasn't gotten any love since the last time. So here is where I've gotten with him. So this is the same that you saw at the last one. He stitched on 32 count Lugana and Picture This Plus Dwarf. And I just have a bunch of 1/1 stitches to do for the snowflakes and then add the beads. He is gonna get love this month. He's in a prompt for both Bringo and Magical Stitches, and then that, if that doesn't get me to a finish, he's one of my Year of WIPs pledges, so he is going to get finished this year one way or another. But I will have to, because all those snowflakes around him are nothing but 1/1 DMC and beads, middle beads. I have to use my jeweler's visor for the uber magnification to do that. So he's gonna, I don't know, maybe those prompts will finish him. We'll see how many stitches, because I have to do 200 for the Magical Stitches prompt. That may either finish him or get him very close to finishing. So that's just, and once he's finished, he's gonna get FFO'd. Hopefully I can manage to get him FFO'd within the same year that I finish him, because he'll be a gift for my son for Christmas, because my son loves barn owls. Okay, reaching for the last one. And this one is my 0 days. Yep, I printed off. So it's 0 days without sarcasm. So this is going to be a gift for my husband. Like I said, he takes sarcasm to an art form. I got him a t-shirt for Christmas that says sarcasm is my love language. So this is being stitched on 18 count white Aida using Anchor Black, and 2/1 as you do with Aida. And it was started for a Magical Stitches prompt back in 2020 for black stitches, since it's nothing but. And I think I saved this one for whenever I need to do black stitches, because it's just such an easy thing. Alright, so that is all of my WIPs. Like I said, I'm currently at 28 WIPs. Alright, so let me take a drink real quick, and then we'll go through a little bit of plans. Okay, so plans. I'm gonna do magical stitches. We'll see how far I get this year. Some years I do really well, and some years, for whatever reason, I just like drop off at some point. We'll see. I'm doing Year of WIPs, and let me grab my stitch tracker. Did I show you? Yeah, I think I showed you. I stuck it in here somewhere. In the front or in the back. Gracious, Trisha. Yes. Okay. So here is my Year of WIPs pledge. I'll have to maybe tomorrow night. Not tonight. Tomorrow night I'll pull the ones that I need. Actually, I like to get beginning of year pictures of all of my WIPs. So everything will get pulled out and a picture taken. So then I'll have pictures to post on Year of WIPs. So I am planning, okay, so yep, and I'm doing Bringo. I've mentioned it a few times. So I'm doing Bringo this year again, because I have fun with Bringo. I'm just playing with this tape that doesn't want to stay down, because I put it on in a way that didn't quite work. So Bringo and Magical Stitches, and then Year of WIPs. And I plan on doing Stitch Mania, but I'm doing the combo method. So if something has, okay, and it's with a caveat too. I'll do a Mania video when we get closer, for the people that like to watch the Mania videos. But so my plan is, it's a loose plan, because I know life, sometimes you don't get to stitch every day. Excuse me. So I arranged it so that on the days that I have WIPs that were started for Manias, on those days I assigned that project to that day. And then the days that I have finished, or days that go past, because I only went up, how many did I do? So my Mania starts only go up to a certain day in May. I'll have the days after if I feel like starting more stuff. But on the days that are empty, I can start something. Now the days may not happen on the day that it is. They're gonna go in, I'm gonna go in order, but if I, you know, like I get to stitch on day 1, I get to stitch on day 2, but day 3 is just a, you know, one of those days. I can't get to stitching on day 3. Day 3 will slide down to day 4, and we'll do that until I get through the sequence. So that's how it's gonna work. So there's a plan, and I'm allowing for life to happen. Alright, so I think that's it. As far as other plans, I'm going to Stitchway in, gosh, in about a week, roughly a week. I'll be flying to Ohio to go to Stitchway. I'm going to the Steel City Stitchers retreat, as long as the weather holds up. I'm going to a craft gallery retreat in May for Teresa Kogut, which I'm excited for. And then StitchCon in June. Anything past June, nobody's set dates for it. So I'll be going to, at some point, the San Antonio girls will have a retreat. I'll go to that. Then I'll do the Stitching Sirens retreat. I decided I'm not doing New Jersey again. I enjoy New Jersey, just the plane tickets cost more to get to New Jersey, and getting out of Newark is a problem. It's just a bad airport for delays and stuff. My flight was delayed and then delayed and then delayed and then canceled and then reinstated. So the amount of stress that I felt with that, with I'm not gonna get home in in time kind of thing. So I decided to, because my vacation time might not be as plentiful this next year, so I had to decide on something to cut out. So I decided on New Jersey, and then of course I'll be doing the, if she gets around to scheduling it, she hasn't yet. Nancy from FaithWorks, we're supposed to be doing a spring retreat, and I told her, please do it in April. No, do it in March. Or just not in the same weekend that I'm going to be at Steel City Stitchers. So probably an El Paso retreat, and that won't take any, maybe one day of vacation, because it's just a drive down. It's an one and a half hour to get down to El Paso, so that'll be easy. And then our fall retreat, Camp Stitchmore, definitely going to that. Alright, so that's my plans. As far as I know, stuff changes, but I'm gonna try to do some updates through the year now that I found my camera, and now I have the WIP parade to as a good start for the year. And then we can possibly just, not gonna say it's gonna be a regular thing. I'm gonna shoot for monthly, but if it doesn't happen monthly, then it's just the way it is. Alright, so thank you guys for joining me for this. I love the WIP parade, so that's why I do mine, for you and for, like I said, me. So happy stitching. I hope your holidays were wonderful, and have a happy and safe new year, and we'll see you the next time. Alright, take care.